Cambridge International School, Dasuya, a vassal education school. Dear friends, I am Radha, working as PGT Business Studies at Cambridge International School, Dasuya. Students, in our previous lesson, I have shared online quiz based on multiple choice questions from chapter 12, Consumer Protection. Now, in today's lesson, we are going to revise chapter 8, that is controlling. We will revise all the concepts of controlling. Our learning objective for today, students will revise all the concepts of controlling. So we are going to revise the meaning of controlling, importance of controlling, what is the relationship between planning and controlling, and finally the process of controlling. So let us start with the controlling topic. Students, controlling, it is one of the most important function of every manager. It comes after directing. Directing, where manager he is going to motivate, guide, supervise the efforts of his subordinates while performing their activities so that they can achieve organizational goals. Then controlling comes. To get desired results, a manager has to exercise effective control over the activities of his subordinates. Controlling, it is a pervasive and primary function of every manager. Pervasive means it is applicable at all the levels and everywhere, whether it is an educational institution or hospital or any manufacturing concern. It is performed at all the levels, top level, middle level, and lower level. Controlling, this is the function which bring back the management cycle to the planning function, where manager set a desired goal under planning and then he has to check whether the desired goals are achieved or not. So controlling, this is the process through which management ensures that the actual performance conforms to the planned performance. Controlling, it is the process to set the performance standards. That means whatever activity, whatever target we are going to achieve, we are going to perform, that we need to set some parameters that are called performance standards. And we need to follow all that parameters. And then we need to measure actual performance, actual output of an employee. And then we will compare actual performance, actual output with the standard performance. Find out the deviation. Deviation means it is a cause or reason why we were not able to achieve the objective. And we need to find the cause. And if cause is there, if any deviation is there, difference is there, then we need to take a corrective action so that we can achieve our desired goal. And if there is no any deviation, we will go ahead and we will set another new target. And in simple words, whatever targets we have set, we need to check whether that targets are achieved or not. If achieved, well and good, go ahead and set another target. But if not achieved, find out the reason, find out the cause, problem, or we can say it is called deviation, and think about the corrective action. That means measure how to eliminate or minimize that particular cause or deviation. So controlling it, it is that where we are going to say actual performance conforms to the planned performance, discovers deviation from the results expected, identifies the reason for such deviation, and take corrective actions. Now, next topic is importance of controlling. Controlling, it is the last function of management, but it is an indispensable or important function of every manager. First point is it helps to accomplish organizational goals, or we can say accomplishment of organizational goals. It measures actual performance with standard performance and making corrective actions. Students, controlling function helps to measure or check the progress of work, whether all activities are going on as per the plans or not. It helps to keep our organization on right track by comparing actual performance with standard performance. That means whatever actually employee has performed and what desired goal our organization expect from an employee. And by comparing these two, actual performance with standard performance, we are going to find out the deviation. We are going to find out the difference. Is there any difference or not? If there is no difference, that means actual performance, actual output is same as standard performance. That means as per the targets, desired targets, then no need to do anything. But if deviation is there, then we need to take corrective action immediately so that we can minimize or eliminate that deviation. So in this way, it helps to achieve organizational goal. Next point is judging accuracy of standards. Controlling function not only help to achieve organizational goals but also helps to verify which standards targets we have set that are accurate or not. According to change in trend, change in fashion or need, do we need to modify or revise our previous standards or not? And I can say that standards, these means these are the parameters, like what will be the process we need to follow throughout the production, what quality we need to follow, what will be the standard time, so that these all are called standards and we need to follow all these parameters, these standards while performing our task. And with the help of controlling, we will come to know whatever targets, whatever standards we have set, whether these are working as well as or not, or do we need to modify according to the need in the changing environment. Do we need to revise or we need to modify these standards, or we will follow the same. So it helps to check the accuracy of standards in changing environment, which helps to revise the standard if needed. Now, third point of importance of controlling is efficient use of resources. When each and every employee knows what are the targets are given to them, what are the parameters they need to follow, and with the help of controlling, manager will check the working of each and every employee at each step. By performing this function, he can save or use all the resources wisely, and we can ensure there is no wastage, no spoilage of any resource, whether it is a physical resource, financial resource, or human resource. Now, next point is improving employee motivation. Employees are aware about that what is expected from him so that they will be motivated. Students, when an employee get the target or the parameters which he has to follow throughout the working or performing his task, and when an employee knows how my performance will be judged, then he will try to give his best or he will try to work as per the given parameters standards. And by giving his best, that means if he is contributing towards the success of organizational goal, then business also give them suitable rewards like promotion, bonus, increment, special blazers, gift voucher, etc., which not only motivate but enhance their morale and motivate them to give their best next time also. Now, next point is ensures order and discipline. Close watch on the performance of employees makes order and discipline. Students, when manager keeps a close check on each and every activity of an employee, then it helps to reduce the dishonest behavior of an employee and it helps to create order and discipline in the organization. Now, last point of importance of controlling, that is coordination. Coordination means synchronization of efforts. Students, in every organization, according to the size and nature, that business is going to perform different tasks, and there are different departments. Suppose that production department which focus only on production, purchase department which involves in purchasing the things, then finance department, he is going to arrange funds for all the activities of organization. So these all are the different departments and they are performing different tasks. Then coordination becomes compulsory. That means everyone has to support to each other because they are performing different tasks. And controlling helps to provide a common direction to all the activities of all the different departments and ensure support from everyone, support from each department, whether it is a purchase department, production department, or finance department. All are giving their full support. Proper coordination will be there. Students, now we will discuss about the relationship between planning and controlling. Planning. Planning is the function to think in advance for future. That means it is futuristic in nature. Planning helps to set standards or objectives for the organization for future purpose. So that means we are going to think in advance for future. So it is also known as looking forward function. And whereas we are talking about controlling, it is related to past only. It is the process to compare actual performance with standard performance, find out the deviation. If any deviation is there, then take corrective action immediately so that we can achieve desired goal. Or in simple words, I can say controlling ensures that whatever activities we are performing that are going on as per the plans or not. So we need to compare past with the plans. And controlling involves post-mortem of past activities. So it is also known as looking back function. Now without a plan, there is nothing to control. Planning is useless without control, or we can say planning is meaningless without controlling. Why it is meaningless? Because controlling ensures that all activities are going on as per the plans. With the help of controlling process, we can ensure all the activities are going on as per the plans and we are able to achieve our targets. And then control is useless without plan. Means controlling is blind in the absence of planning. Why controlling is blind in the absence of planning? Because planning provides the targets, standards which manager has to achieve. So in the absence of these targets, what is there to do? So planning provides the basis for the controlling. So we came to know these planning and controlling both are interdependent and inseparable twins of management. They are nothing without each other. Planning and controlling interrelated and reinforce each other. Planning makes controlling easier and effective. Controlling reveals shortcomings. When we talk about planning, planning is an intellectual process. It is a thinking function rather than doing. It involves application of mind, means we are using our mind, imagination, and sound judgment so that we are able to set a good or right target or objective for future. So, planning provides the base for controlling. With the help of planning, it becomes easy to control each and every activity. So, planning provides the direction to the controlling. And when we are talking about controlling helps to ensure whether all the activities are going on as per the plans or not. Controlling tells us about the shortcomings in the plans, whatever activities we have decided, whether we are able to achieve or not. Do we need to modify our previous standards or we need to go as well as? So it helps to judge the accuracy of standards. It helps to modify or revise the standards in future if there is need, if there is any change in the business environment. So planning makes controlling easier and effective. Controlling reveals shortcoming in planning. Now next is planning is looking ahead and controlling looking back. Plans are prepared for future. Controlling is the post-mortem of past activities. First we will discuss about the planning is looking ahead, or we can say planning is a forward looking function. Why it is a forward looking function? Because Planning involves forecasting and preparing futuristic plans. We are thinking in advance for future. We are going to set targets, parameters, objectives for future. So it is a futuristic in nature, and it is also known as forward looking function. Then controlling it is the post mortem of past activities, and we are going to ensure that all the activities are going on as per the plans. We are going to look into the past. We are going to compare actual performance with the standard performance. We are going to find out the deviation. If any, we are going to take corrective action. So controlling it is an evaluative process. It is concerned with checking whether the plans have been properly implemented or not. Whereas planning it is a prescriptive in nature, and controlling it is an evaluative process. That planning it gives us the base for controlling, and controlling ensures all the activities are going on as per the plans. Now next thing is planning is also known as looking back function. Why planning is looking back function? Because managers they use their past experiences and corrective actions for making new plans in the future. So it is also known as backward looking function, or we can say that looking back function. And then controlling it is a forward looking function also. Why it is forward looking? Because it aims at improving future performance. By considering corrective action taken in the past, we are going to improve our future performance. So it is also known as futuristic or looking forward function. After studying relationship between planning and controlling, now we will discuss about the process of controlling. By following the process of controlling, we ensure that desired goals are achieved. And here some steps are involved. First one, setting performance standards, measurement of actual performance, comparing actual performance with standards, analyze deviations, and take corrective action. Now first step is setting standards. Here we are going to set targets and parameters. Targets which we need to achieve by following all parameters or standards, we can say parameters and standards or standards. So these what are these parameters? That means how we are going to ensure all activities are going to help to achieve our organizational goal. And what are the parameters? Parameters like what will be the process we need to follow throughout the production, which method of production we will follow, what quality of raw material will be used, what will be the standard time to manufacture each unit. So these all things are called parameters, or we can say standards. And every employee must know about these parameters, so it will be easy for them to understand and to perform their task as per the expectations of an organization. And these standards or targets act as a lighthouse that warns and guide the ships at sea. These standards we can set in two ways: quantitative standards and qualitative standards. When we set targets in quantity form, like revenue to be earned, we are going to earn 5 lakh rupees, our OM is to earn 5 lakh rupees, 5,000 rupees, that as per the organization. What will be the cost per unit? That means for each product 10 rupees per unit cost should be there. We are going to increase our sales by 20%. You will see that all the things we are going to set in quantity form. And it means employees, when we are going to set these objectives, targets, standards in quantity form, it becomes easy for employee to understand. It will easy to understand, easy to perform. So this is quantitative. Next is qualitative standards. Qualitative standards like improve motivation level of employee, improve quality of raw material, and it does not involve quantity form, and it is very difficult to measure also. So as far as possible, managers should try to set the targets, objectives, standards in quantity form. Now after setting standard, performance standards. Now next step is measurement of actual performance. After setting standards, manager has to measure the actual output, or we can say actual performance of an employee. We need to measure what actually employee has done. There are many ways to measure the actual performance or actual output of an employee, like performance report, daily performance report we can prepare, manager can prepare. He can observe personally that how employees are working, whether they are working as per the given standards or not, with the help of sample checking also. That one sample will be checked if it is correct, according to all the parameters given, then they will go ahead with the further production. So these are the examples: daily performance report, personal observation, sample checking. These are the methods one manager can use to measure the actual performance of an employee. And standards makes comparison easy. In large organizations, generally they are going to use sample checking method to measure the actual performance of an employee. So here we are going to measure the performance of an employee, what he has done. In this image, you can see this is an example of personal observation. Personally, you are going to observe how employees are performing. It will create a psychological pressure on the employee to perform well under the supervision of a manager. After setting performance standards, then measurement of actual performance. Now next step is to compare actual performance with standard performance. In this step, we are going to compare actual performance with standard performance. It means what is the actual output given by an employee, actual output, and what were the expectations of an organization. We are going to compare target given with the actual output of an employee, so that we are able to find out the difference between both, which is called deviation, difference between actual performance and standard performance. Suppose if the organization has given that you have to manufacture 500 units that in one day, so 500 units in one day, that is a standard performance. And if that what actual output has given by an employee, 400 units, 500 units, 300 units, so we are going to compare here what is the difference between both. That we are going to compare actual performance with the standard performance. Now next step is analyzing deviation. Deviation means difference between actual performance and standard performance. Students, some deviations are possible in all the activities, but we need to see the deviations in the important areas of business need to be corrected more urgently as compared to deviation in insignificant areas. Now, here we are going to analyze the deviation, analyze the causes, what are the reason, and what are the deviations which are important and which we can manage without taking any action. So deviation in key areas require urgent attention, and there are two ways to handle with these deviations. First is critical point control and second is management by exception. Now one by one we will discuss about it. Now first technique to deal with these differences, that is critical point control. Students, sometimes direct question comes that explain the critical point control, or sometimes by giving one line they are asking identify the concept. And which line is this? I will tell you. It is neither easy nor economical to check each and every activity in an organization. The control should focus on key result areas which act as critical points. Identify the concept. So it is called critical point control. What is the meaning of this? Critical point control. This principle says that it is not easy and cheaper to check each and every activity in the organization. So what we should do? We should focus only on critical points. We should check only key result areas which affect the success of an organization, and because of which deviation the entire organization can suffer if anything goes wrong at these points. For example, in manufacturing organization, if labor cost increases by 7% is more troublesome than an 18% increase in postal charges. So, here, which is the critical area or critical point? That is labor cost. It is a serious matter than increase in postal charges for a manufacturer. So, we should focus only on critical points or key result areas. Now, next technique to deal with deviation is management by exception. Here also they can ask you by giving one line which says attempt to control everything result in controlling nothing. This define the principle of management by exception. Deviations which cannot be easily solved by the lower level management alone should be reported to top management. And this principle says that important deviations which exceed the prescribed limit or limit decided by the organization should be brought to the notice of management. That means, suppose example, if the labor cost increase by 3%, means if there was a plan that if labor cost will increase by 3%, this is a normal deviation, we don't need to take any action. But if this labor cost increases beyond 3%, then immediately bring it to the notice of the management and take corrective action. So here we are going to decide some limits, and if our deviations goes or cross these limits, then we need to take action, otherwise we don't need to take action. And here we are going to identify the causes of deviation. What is the reason behind that difference between actual performance and standard performance? So management by exception says we need to focus only on the important deviations which goes beyond the decided limit or beyond the prescribed limit. Now this is the last step in the process of controlling, which says that we need to take corrective action. Students, if deviations are within the acceptable limit, where in previous example we have studied if labor cost will increase by 3%, no need to worry. But if it goes beyond 3%, then we need to take action immediately. So if deviations are within the acceptable limits, no corrective measures is required, no corrective action is required. But if the deviations exceed acceptable limit, exceed the prescribed limit or decided limit, then immediately brought to the notice of the management for taking corrective action. Now here I will share some examples with you. Suppose the cause of deviation is obsolete machinery. Then what corrective action can be taken? Technological upgradation of machinery. So with the help of these examples, students, you can explain what corrective action can be taken if deviation goes beyond the limit, or if you find it in an important areas, key result areas. So second example, if the defective process is there, then change the specification standards for the manufacturing process. If defective material is there, change the quality standards for material use. If defective physical conditions of work, then improve in physical conditions of work. If defective machinery is there, you can go for repair of that machinery or you can purchase the new one. So these are the examples of corrective action. First you need to explain what are taking corrective action and then what are the examples of corrective action. So this was the controlling process. Where first we need to set the standards. It is the desire of wish or wisdom of manager that he is going to set the targets or standards in quantitative form or qualitative form. Then we need to measure actual performance of an employee with the help of personal observation, daily performance report or sample checking. We can measure the actual performance of an employee. Then we need to compare actual performance with the standard performance. And then we need to analyze the deviations. That means the key result areas and the deviation which cross the prescribed limit. We need to focus only on these deviations, these areas, and we need to find out the cause. And after finding out the cause, we need to take corrective action. If deviation is within the prescribed limit, no need to take any action. If it goes beyond the prescribed limit, then take corrective action. I have discussed examples with you. So now we conclude our lesson here. Today we have discussed about the meaning of controlling, importance of controlling, process of controlling, relationship between planning and controlling. Now, home assignment. Students, that already we have discussed all types of questions, case study based question, direct questions, indirect questions, multiple choice questions. But you need to revise it thoroughly again, because now your online quiz is coming soon on 25th May. So you that two chapters are coming, chapter 8 controlling and chapter 12 consumer protection. So read it thoroughly, prepare it thoroughly with the help of questions given, case study based questions given with answers, and then and multiple choice question, true false. You need to prepare it well. In case of any query, you can contact me anytime. Stay home, stay safe, and keep studying.